Never thought that we'd go this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Together counting days until the second glow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around, just out the top of yours. It's all you need to do. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? Together counting days until the second glow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around, just out the top of yours. It's all you need to do. far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? To let out and disappear a second go. If you're gonna break the shades, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around without a doubt belongs. It's all you need to do. It's all you need to do. It's all you need to do. It's all you need to do.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Good Morning Tottenham. Sim has grown a bit of facial hair and lost a bit of hair on top. But no, I'm joking. Brian Daigle back in the studio to kind of just tell me what went on last night. It was just absolutely a shit show from start to finish, from Nuno's selection to actually what happened on the pitch. I mean, how are we supposed to assess what happened last night, Brian?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for swearing straight away, because I've been wondering when we could swear because of what time it is, so thank fuck for that. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I go back to Toronto on Friday and I'm over the moon because I can get as far away from that ground as possible.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's what I got to witness yesterday. It's brilliant spending time with you, Danny Kiriakou, and all the others that we were there with. But the performance was just one of the worst I've ever seen. One of the worst I've ever seen. And the only highlight was finally I got to hear Levy out whilst I was in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about that before we get into the game, because yesterday we heard Levy out chants quite heavily throughout the stadium. A lot of boos in terms of Nuno's decision-making and that kind of stuff. Boos because of the performance. I mean, it was getting fairly toxic in the ground last night, wasn't it? What did you make out of all of it?
So the first half, we got booed at half-time, and I thought that's performance-related. It was not a great performance, but then there was that change when Lucas Moura got substituted. It wasn't for Bergwijn coming on. It was 1,000,000,000% for Lucas coming off. And that's where the tide turned, I think. And then obviously you and me started trying to get a few things going. And then after the second goal, it got a bit more. Then after the third goal, I've never been witness to hearing Levy out in the stadium. And it was loud. It was loud. And from what I've heard from people, it was on the trains home as well. I think Nuno is now literally knocking on heaven's door. It's literally time for him to go. I've not said it, but the whole club is a mess from top to bottom, and thankfully this movement has started to gather a bit of pace, and hopefully this will be the beginning of the end for him, I hope.
I mean, we're getting to the manager situation properly later, but in terms of Nuno going, I mean, I get the point, like, the guy is pretty much a dead man walking, no inspiration on touchline and bad decision-making and stuff, but what is the alternative options?
This is the
Ryan
problem.
Mason?
Do you know what? This is the thing I've been saying with it. This is what you've got to be careful, because Levy's now backed himself into a corner because it took 72 days or whatever it was, 70 whatever, to get him. So if he fires him now, he looks an idiot. And if he keeps him, he looks an idiot. So He's done this to himself, and the only managers I think we're going to be able to get are people like your Eddie Howe's, or managers that have been out of work for a while and just need a job to kickstart their career. And I mean, people, I can't even think of people, but who is going to want to come? Who is going to come after this? They've seen it season after season. Nuno, the way it's been handled is just ridiculous. People have been blaming manager all the time. It's not the manager. I've been saying it for years and years since it's the chairman. And where do we go? Where do we go?
Because now all the players, the manager's always going to be the fall guy for the chairman, isn't he?
He is. And then you look at the players that Nuno's brought in. Does the next manager want them? And I've said it as well. What we've done is, unlike Liverpool, who lose Brendan Rodgers, then get Jurgen Klopp in, attacking manager. We go defensive, attacking, and defensive. All right, we've got defensive with Mourinho and Nuno, but it's always a different style. There's no consistency. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. Because how do you know that manager wants that type of players if they're playing the opposite brand of football? We give people contracts when they don't deserve them. And the new manager comes in and there's that poison in there. There is pure poison in that club at the moment, and it's from the top down.
Yeah, and I mean, this club really is just toxic top to bottom at the moment, from the hierarchy all the way down to the fans. You know what I mean? Everyone is toxic. The players don't know what they're doing. And that's purely down from the instruction from Nuno, and that's from the instruction down from Daniel Levy. So I mean, it's complete. We're in a massive mess, massive mess. And that's what, the third game this season, or the fourth game this season we've conceded 3 goals.
Fourth game we conceded 3 goals. It's also the fourth game where we haven't had a shot on target.
Yeah.
The stats just keep coming in. I don't know how many more stats need to be made before something is done. But I've got a feeling Nuno's gone this week. I said it to you just earlier. Yeah. I've got a real feeling. And listen, his tactics might be bad, and he's not. Listen, Bob Spurs said it. If you hire a mediocre manager, expect mediocrity, and that's what we've got. That is what we've got. So he's taken this job. He plays 3-5-2 for Wolves, and that was his best football. And he doesn't play it here. Yeah, that's an instruction from above.
And you know, I think Conor Cody came out recently, and he was saying that under Nuno they were predominantly a counter-attacking side, right? And since Bruno Laga's come in there, it's opened his eyes because he's getting more out of those players than Nuno got out. Because Nuno, yes, he did well at Wolves, but they were predominantly a counter-attacking side, and now they're actually playing nice football.
They are.
With the same players. Yep. With the same players. And it says he's opened his eyes to it, and I think he's much happier off for it. And is that to tell a story of the kind of managerial standpoints of Nuno?
Without a doubt. Like I said, they are playing, like, even when they played us, all right, Adama Traore can't finish or create, but they were good on the counter. They were great on the counter-attack, and they have been playing great football. And yeah, he's been exposed. He's been exposed, and obviously when you come to Tottenham Hotspur, it's a lot more pressure. Yeah. Than at Wolves, with no disrespect to them. And he's not right for the job.
Super chat here from DDMK 1985 saying, "We will draw with Vitesse and Nuno will be gone." I mean, can you even see us getting a draw against Vitesse? I can't even see us getting a draw against Vitesse.
Well, you look at it. If we don't get a draw,
going out the Conference League in the group stages.
That's what I've been saying. If we don't get the home games are against Rennes and Vitesse, and if we don't get 3 points from both, we are screwed in that cup as well. Yeah. And obviously, you and me are here for Vitesse, and that could be a long show because it could happen. It could happen if we don't get the result. I don't think there'll be a lot of people there as well. What was it, 20,000 at the last one? I don't think there'll be that many this time.
Yeah, probably less. But let's get into the game because I don't really want to, but we have to. But look, I think that first and foremost, let's talk about the lineup, because why the hell was Ben Davies playing? Why the hell was Ben Davies playing when he played in midweek? Surely he played in midweek with a view for Reguilon to play on the weekend. I mean, why would you play Ben Davies twice in a week? It doesn't make sense to me. Reguilon has had a brilliant start to the season, in my opinion. He gives us that outlet on the left-hand side. What does Ben Davies give us? What does he give us?
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, it was all going around saying, when I was outside of the protest, someone was coming up and going, there's rumours that Davies is going to be in. I was like, it can't. And then obviously it was there, and I did not even understand why. And the first thing I said when I spoke to your granddad, I was like, I said to Grandpa, why are they playing him? And your grandpa was like, I think maybe because of the height, because obviously Reguilon. And that kind of made sense. But then he was at fault for Ronaldo's goal. The defense, I mean, when you got Dyer and him together, it's a recipe for disaster. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand. I agree with you. I think Reguilon, especially in the last few games, has been fantastic.
Yeah.
It just another Tottenham.
And even if you are planning to play Ben Davies against Man United, why do you play him against Burnley as well then? Why didn't you not play Reguilon then on Wednesday night?
Exactly. It's, again,
Makes
with
no
Emerson.
sense to me.
I honestly thought Tanganga was going to start because of more
The
defensive.
physicality, yeah.
Yeah, but Emerson started. Emerson, I think, had a good game.
Yeah, I mean, he was providing a good outlet on that option on their right-hand side. Didn't get too many good crosses in the box, but I felt like he was definitely playing well on that right side.
Yep. He was. Thank God for him. Thank God for him in that defence, because it did, like I said, offer an outlet. We know Ben Davies doesn't do that. He's not the attacking left back that Reggie is, and he just looks so lost. He looks so lost. I wonder if he came out like Vitesse and said, "Oh, the pitch was bad," or the fans were being abusive, and I can't handle this, and the big boy stole my lunch money, and all that. So yeah, it's just the biggest question mark over that. There's no even. He didn't even answer. I don't think he was asked the question, was he? Why pick Davies?
No. I didn't even listen to his press conference yesterday. I haven't even listened to it. But look, the game started, and I felt like for the first until Man United scored, I mean, I felt like the Spurs players were up for it. I mean, I felt like the Spurs players were trying. I felt Harry Kane was pressing. I felt most of the Spurs players looked on it. Without creating too much, without doing too much on the pitch. I mean, there were a few openings and a few moments where we could have done a bit better and got a goal and stuff like that. And obviously the goal that was ruled out for offside, Christian Romero. But as soon as they scored, heads dropped. But even when our players looked up for it, it looked like there was no plan. Like, what was the plan yesterday? Like, I felt like our players were actually in the right mindset to go out there and win this game, but it was let down by the tactics of Nuno and the system that we were playing. Like, what was the plan yesterday? I don't get it. What was the plan?
I think it's jumpers for goalposts. That's what we're doing. We're just going out there, go run around a bit and do something. There's no cohesion. We are so static. I have never seen us with so little movement. I mean, obviously, I haven't been to the games to watch it to see what the whole team are doing, but there's just back and back, and side to side. And then every time we look forward, and Shearer did it yesterday on Match Today when he just said the space that we were just giving United. There's just no intensity. There's no desire. There's no nothing there.
Yeah, and it's true. And I mean, that did happen later on during the game as the game wore on. But I did feel for the first 20 minutes at least that, you know, the players came out with the right attitude. And I felt that they were running, they were pressing, but they were just let down by the manager and let down by the tactics once again.
They were. I mean, like you said, it started off positive, but we've got such a bad mentality. We have got such poor mentality that as soon as that goal went in, it had to be hit that man. Questions were asked, heads dropped. Have you seen Højbjerg's interview afterwards?
No.
Højbjerg even said in the interview on Match Today, I'm not going to say too much. I think something kicked off in the dressing room with the way Højbjerg was talking. But yeah, once that went 1-0 down, there was just one team in it. The heads dropped.
Yeah, completely true. A few super chats to get to. First one from Crocodoc saying, Nuno said in his press conference on picking Ben Davies over Reguilon, Ben is a bit more consistent.
When Reguilon's just had his... This shows the mess we're in.
Consistently what? Consistently shit?
Yep, I think that's what it's come to, because Reguilon, Newcastle was fantastic. West Ham was trying to do bits. And in a few games this season, he has been back to the Reguilon we signed. And to say that Ben Davies is a bit more consistent, what is that all about?
Consistently average. That's what he's, you know what I mean? Consistently average. That's what he's more consistent at. Makes no sense to me. I mean, everything surrounding Tottenham just baffles me at the moment. It just baffles me. The decision-making at this football club is an absolute disgrace. It's a disgrace. From Daniel Levy, Joe Lewis to Daniel Levy, all the way down to Nuno. I mean, the decision-making at this club is an absolute joke. Another super chat here from Essa El Shamari saying, long time since I sent a super chat. Nice to see you, lads. I think what we need is to start from scratch, sell the deadwood, bring in a long-term manager. Do you think Conte is the one? I don't. I mean, Conte, there's no chance. Conte rejected us in the summer because we didn't match the ambition. So why are people talking about him now?
You know, because, again, it's Tottenham reaching for the stars to try and appease everyone and say, this is what we're going to try and do, this is what we're going to do. Listen, we could get Klopp and Guardiola as assistant and we won't do anything because nothing will change. It doesn't matter who comes in. If Conte's already turned us down, what, Levy's all of a sudden going to turn around and say, yeah, now I'll give you the money. We know he's not. We know he's not. Conte is who we could have got if we'd just lost Poch now and he was available, then yeah, you could have got him in. He ain't coming in a million years.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very, very true. And, you know, with Dr. Tottenham striking again, striking once again, making everyone's weekend happy apart from the Spurs fans. Man United saving Ollie's job once again. Dr. Tottenham, you know, it's the right remedy for anyone, isn't it? Absolutely anyone.
Cast iron guarantee. I mean, the thing that really struck me as well is before the game, did you see Marcus Rashford's tweet or Instagram a few days ago when he said, listen, I haven't been on because I'm embarrassed.
Purely
I'm
embarrassed, yeah.
This is Manchester United. We have Davies and Winks doing interviews like that. And I said, Dr. Tottenham, we've got Everton away next. Who've just got to come home from a 5-goal thumping from Watford.
Last week, yeah.
And yeah, it's honestly, Dr. Tottenham is really becoming a thing. It's becoming more than Spursy. It's Dr. Tottenham. Like, if anyone needs their job saved or anyone needs a result, if you got Tottenham, every manager, like Ferguson said, it's only Tottenham. Yeah. That's where we've gone back to.
We're back to it. And I genuinely believe we're back in the doldrums of the 90s, man. The late 90s, the mid 90s, you know. We're so poor. We're so poor. And even in the 90s, you know, at least we had a go.
Yeah.
At least we had a go and like try to attack teams. Now, what do we do on this football pitch? What do we do? I don't see any sort of game plan whatsoever. At all.
You got to remember as well, in the 90s, we were able to attract Jurgen Klinsmann when we couldn't offer him European football, couldn't offer him top six, couldn't offer him anything, and we could attract players like that. Sugar won us an FA Cup. Oh, no, he didn't. He won us the Worthington Cup because that was...
in 99, yeah.
Yeah, so, like you said, at least the team always gave effort. We may not have been good, but one thing you could never doubt back in the 90s was the team's commitment, and now it's highly questionable.
Yeah, highly. Another super chat here from Dan saying, we should all out for Conference League. Don't think we can get top 6 with Nuno. I'm not sure what he's trying to say there. Maybe he's saying we should go out the Conference League. Is that what he's saying?
We should go all out for
it.
To
all
try and
out
get into Europa.
Oh, I see. We should go all out for the Conference League. And you know what? I've been saying about the Conference League, like, well, there's no guarantees. There's no guarantees whatsoever that we can finish top 6. I mean, it's even looking like an outside shot right now that we're going to finish top 6. So why not go all in for the Conference League? Why not go and win the Conference League? I don't care what people think about the Conference League. I don't care if we're going to be a laughing stock and, you know, we're going to celebrate winning the Conference League and what have you. But it's our only realistic chance to get into Europa League next season.
See, that statement alone is worrying. When you say it's our realistic chance to get this,
but it's true.
No, it's bang on the money. It's bang on the money, and I want a trophy. I've been saying it for years. I want a silver trophy. I want to have a day out where we're all celebrating, all happy.
Glorious day out in Albania.
Oh yeah, but you got to love it. I don't know if I'll make it from Canada to. I think it holds about 3. What's the stadium capacity there? About 20,000.
I'm not too sure. Tirana. Let's have a look.
So yeah. I mean, it's a great point they bring up with the super chat, but then he's got to do squad balance with the squad in depth. The Premier League in December. December's going to be a nightmare.
22,000, yeah.
December's going to be a nightmare, and game management with these players is going to be key. And Thursday is a must-win. Is a must win. If we don't, the crowd's going to go even more toxic. And I think we have to go all out for it. I think you're right. I think it's our only realistic chance of top 6 and probably even a trophy.
Yeah, well, definitely a trophy, that's for sure. Faz Radfar with Super Chat saying, Nuno had a long chat when he subbed Reguilon versus West Ham. And that's the Super Chat. Do you reckon that's had something to do with his why he's been taken out the team?
Well,
what happened during West Ham? I know there was one defensive mishap in there from him, but I mean, how many defensive mishaps have we seen from Ben Davies week in, week out for years?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know what it is. It can't be footballing reasons. Something has got to have gone on. Something is said in training or something not done in training that has warranted him not doing it. Because he's our best left back at the club, and you're playing Manchester United with Cavani and Ronaldo up front, and they just looked. We made them look like they were world beaters yesterday.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. But to be fair, look, with a team of Ronaldo, Cavani, Bruno Fernandes, you know, they can do that to anyone. But at the end of the day, they just got absolutely schmeiced by Liverpool last week, and they didn't look like they had an hope in hell in even making an attack, never mind getting a goal against Liverpool. And then we just come out there, we roll over, no tactics, Nuno. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. We got a super chat here from Josh King. What he says is, I think this may go down as the worst managerial appointment in our Premier League history. Clear to everyone, he was the wrong choice. Spot on. Absolutely spot on. The only manager to lose 5 out of his opening 10 games since Christian Gross.
That's what he's the worst one we've hired. He's the worst one. But yeah, all the stats for Nuno are not looking good. At least Nuno had Gross had a Ginola to bail him out.
Yeah.
I can't see who's going to bail us out. Son hasn't looked himself. Kane is definitely not himself. There's no creativity. I can't see that player, apart from Romero. And our defenders are not going to win us games.
And this is why you don't sack a manager without a plan. This is why you don't sack, especially a manager. I know everyone had their gripes with Jose Mourinho and whatever, but Jose Mourinho was 10 times, the Jose Mourinho tenure, however bad it got, was 10 times better than this.
Oh, without a doubt. And at least, you know, with Jose, at least there was a purpose and you understood what, there was an idea. There was a way of play. And we may not have liked it, but we liked it when we were top of the league and it was gaining results. But you knew what he was doing. It may have been frustrating as hell, but you knew this is going to happen. And you just don't know what you're going to get with us right now.
Exactly. And as someone just mentioned in the chat, at least Jose was getting the best out of Son and Kane, completely juicing the most he could out of them. You know what I mean? And Nuno can't get Kane. He scored 1 goal, Premier League goal this season. And Son, I mean, as much as he's trying, he looks a shadow of himself from last season as well.
So do you know what? We were at the Villa game together. And at Villa, he was outstanding. Son ran that show.
Yeah.
And it's just got to show, like, within 4 weeks, what's happened at this club. He looked good against Newcastle, but we all did. But it was Newcastle. Let's be honest. And they just don't look the same. Like I keep saying, they are overplayed and undervalued. And when I say undervalued, I don't mean by the wages they're on. I mean as human beings and as footballers. There's no squad rotation. There's no strength in depth. And it also, if you keep overplaying your best players, it's not like back in the 80s where they used to play every single game and there's only 2 subs. It's all about a squad game now, and we just don't have the squad.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a sad, sad state of affairs at Tottenham right now. And I don't really know where to go with it all. I really don't. I mean, it's just so depressing watching this turgid football with no plan, week in, week out. The only teams that we can beat is like bottom of the barrel teams that are basically in a worse space than us, pretty much. There's no chance we're going to go to any team with any sort of plan and go there and get a result. Like, tell me when our next win's coming from. Can you tell me where our next win's coming from?
No, this is the worrying thing. I can't. And this is the thing. Even though the games we've won, they haven't been convincing.
Yeah.
1-0s or 3-2s at Newcastle or winning by the 1 goal. They have not been very, very well like victories where we played them off the park at all. Yes, we played some good football against Newcastle, but they've not been convincing. And I just can't say it's Everton. We've got Vitesse, can't see a win, being serious. Everton, can't see a win. Guarantee Andros Townsend's going to check in. And then Leeds.
Leeds that's the one where you could see a potential win there, couldn't you? Because Leeds are going really bad at the moment. They've had a terrible start to the season.
Tottenham, but also they play such attacking football, and I don't think we'll be able to live with it. Right now, I don't think we can live with it.
A few more super chats here. Ollie Hunt says, would you take Eddie Howe, Prem proven and young?
So do you know what I said when we were going, I'd take Eddie Howe. And the reason I would take Eddie Howe is we guarantee better football. Look what he did at Bournemouth with a shoestring budget, and he kept them up. And people used to compliment, apart from their season went down and they got hampered by injuries. Right now, I'll take Eddie Howe. I would. He's got Premiership. Like I said, at least you know the football will be better. I really would take him.
And we got a chap called Bob Spur TV in the comments with a super chat, and he says, big up lads, the Nuno tide turned last night, but as I keep saying, he's a mediocre manager, want elite lineups, elite substitution, elite man management, and get an elite manager. Love you, bro. And that's absolutely spot on. And that's exactly what you were saying before, wasn't it? That if you hire an average manager, expect average decisions.
Yeah. We cannot. This thing I say, when they called this El Sacchio yesterday, if we had got the win and Ollie had lost his job, Man U can go for any manager they want because they are Man U. They have got the history, the tradition, the size of the club, and as much as they hate the Glazers, they will spend. If we had, we did lose. If we sat Nuno, we can't even touch what they could even go for. We can't even dream of it right now. There's not. How can you get a top manager out of a club now to come to the state that we're in, knowing that Daniel Levy's not going to back you? And like they talk about players going to other teams, and if they got players from the same country, they talk and say, what's it like? What's the schools like for Kip? The managers do exactly the same. And I don't think a lot of them will be singing Daniel Levy's praises.
Yeah, I mean, some guy, I know you saw it, came up to me at the end of the game when I was singing a Levy out chant and said to me, I want to know like what your real issue is with Daniel Levy, because when you look at the club right now, when you look at when he took over the club 20 years ago and to where we are now, you know, look at this lovely stadium. Why are you so anti-Levy? Like, this club is in such a better spot. And I was like, are you just happy to watch this turgid stuff week in, week out? Are you happy for the ownership to kind of do the club dirty every single year in the transfer market? Are you happy that everything at this football club gets put before football, NFL, concerts, you know, all the corporate thing? Are you happy that this beautiful stand that you're sitting in right now, that's supposed to be branded as the wall of sound and supposed to be for the real hardcore fans, are you happy that a corporate section is put right in the middle of it to kill the atmosphere? Are you happy that, you know, that this is not an atmosphere stand? This is not a stand where they're telling people to come and create atmosphere. They're using it as some sort of like attraction, like tourist attraction. Oh, come here and see the atmosphere. No, we want real fans in there to create the atmosphere. We don't want corporate people bang in the middle just to witness the atmosphere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you had that as well with the South Stand, and I've seen it a few times. I've been with you. Literally, if a large group stand up to try and get the atmosphere going, they're like, the stewards come, sit down, sit down, sit down. It's like, you can't build anything up there. People have been blinded by this stadium and this training ground, and they fall for the, we're trying to get Dybala, we're trying, and then the deal collapses. But look, we're really trying to get them. Don't fall for this nonsense. It's all smoke and mirrors, and it's literally, we are a corporate. And like I said, we could see what was happening at Arsenal down the road. It was a prime example for him to look at and say, right, this is what they had to go through. This is what, and nope, we're going through it right now. And you look at it, people were laughing at Arsenal. We were just talking about it before with Aaron Ramsdale. We're like, what the hell are you spending this money? He's turning out good.
Yeah.
We all joked and said these may not have been the right players and they're overvalued, but they're performing. And at least they were backed. Arteta has been backed. We can't say that with any manager.
No.
Not one.
Yeah. Soufiane Zerad with the super chat saying, Jose would have killed for Romero, Skip and Royale, would have loved to sell loads of the deadwood. Imagine all the points they'd have saved us. And I think that's actually spot on as well. I think that last season, if we would have had those three players, Royale, Romero and Skip, I mean, we would have done a lot better last season. Like last year, where was our problems lying? Right back, centre mid, centre back.
Yep, without a doubt. And then you could see there is such a good partnership being the making there with Højbjerg and Skip. And you could see right near the end of the season, Højbjerg was tiring out. He'd played 387 million games, so he needed a rest. And it was just, again, lack of depth, lack of creativity, not replacing players that we need to get replaced. And I think it's a great comment that literally those three could have made a huge impact on last season.
Yeah, and I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone's viewers are on Jose Mourinho. I mean, I would take him back in a heartbeat right now.
Yeah.
I know it's not possible, but I would actually take him back. I would hire him right now if I could.
I'm totally with you. I mean, I flip-flopped so many times with Mourinho. When we got him, I was like, we're dancing with the devil. Then after the documentary, it kind of won me over seeing the behind the scenes with him. And then we were playing top of the league. And then you hire him to get you to a final, win trophies, and you get to a fight. I just, again, I don't get it. But like you said, I would hire him right now.
Yeah. And that brings us on to the managerial kind of situation at Spurs. And there's been a few kind of updates from various sources, which I'll bring up now. The first one is from Sam Wallace of the Telegraph, and it says it is understood that Tottenham are not currently minded to remove Nuno and will give him more time to turn it around. I mean, what does that actually mean? I mean, how many of these more turgid performances until Daniel Levy does pull the plug on the manager? I mean, it's a catch-22 for him, isn't it? Because if he sacks him, he looks like an idiot, and if he keeps him on, like you said,
Correct.
looks like an idiot.
Correct.
So what does he do?
Daniel Levy will do exactly what we want him to. Nuno, let's say a lot of the people want Nuno out. He'll do the exact opposite. I speak fluent Levy. Whatever he says, he does the opposite. It's basically do the opposite. When he says something, it's the opposite. He can't win, and I don't know. See, this is what I'm waiting for. If we do sack him, I'm waiting for the next manager to come in, and then all the people that are, I don't know about Levy, am I out, am I in, to come up with more excuses, and then it will start again, and it will keep going. But that's why, thankfully, after yesterday, it's got to keep going. It's got to keep going. But I don't even think it's correct English when it says Tottenham aren't minded. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? But yeah, I don't understand it. If this was any other club with those stats, with the kind of ambition that we have, and you would say you've had 3 games where you haven't had a shot on target in the second half. The actual last goal we had was Harry Kane's header against West Ham in the Premier League. And that was in the first half
against West Ham.
So we haven't had a shot on target for a game and a half. Like I said, 3-0 defeats, 4 London derby defeats. I don't know how many of these stats need to keep going before you say, right, there's something wrong. Let's rip the band out.
18th for goals scored in the Premier League.
Did you see those things yesterday?
18th for goals scored. I think we're like 19th for shots on target this season. You know, it's
20th for distance covered.
You know what I mean? And but I just don't know where we go from here, because is there going to be a plan for sacking Nuno? Who can we get in?
Well, this is where Paratici is going to come into effect.
This is Paratici's man.
I don't think he was the first choice. But now Paratici has got to grow some balls and say, Daniel, what the are you doing? I'm taking this because you said I'm going to be in charge of footballing operations. I'm going to be in charge of transfers. Well, you screwed up, and now it's time for me to come, because he's just another deflector. He's a shield for Daniel. Why am I calling him Parasite by his first name? He's a shield for Levy. And he's got to show what he's made of.
Bob Spur once again with the super chat. Big up, Bob. He says, can a board's position ever become untenable?
It was for Sugar.
It was for Sugar, but you know, it's a very different situation now. Like Tottenham, if anyone wants to come and buy Tottenham, you're talking in excess of £2 billion.
So this is why one of the new hashtags, I've been doing 2 new hashtags, which is one, devalue the club. Because that's what we've got to do. We've got to cut them off at the shop. We've got to cut them off in the stadium. We've got to cut them off with merchandise worldwide. If you do buy stuff, don't go to the Spurs store online or Spurs shop. Go to a sports outlet or whatever, so they don't get as much profit. That's where it's got to start. It's got to, and yesterday was a start. And then as soon as you start cutting him off at the money, everyone will come in, and that club will be devalued. And the other one that I have the hashtag is, at the last NFL protest, I actually got talking to Blackpool fans, and the huge hashtag that they had, and apparently a lot of football teams have done it as well, is the hashtag not a penny more. And that has got quite a big outreach on a Twitter hashtag. So they're the 2. That's what we've got to do. People have got to stop spending money. I'm not talking about season tickets, like people like your grandpa and other people's grandpas and you, who have had it for years, have had it as well before Levy came. He's going to be gone at some point. People have worked all their life to be able to do this, and then after COVID, Tottenham is their get out. So it's season tickets. Yes, you could stop doing it, but then you're going to have to wait ages to get it back, and it's not fair for the fans to have to do that. So have the season tickets, but just don't spend anything else at the club. Just try not to. I haven't spent a penny. I won't spend a penny in that shop. I haven't since the summer that we didn't sign anyone. And if that starts happening, Nike will be on the phone saying, why aren't you hitting targets? Why aren't you doing this? What? And that's where it starts. It's now a social media and marketing world.
I get that, but with the way, I mean, I completely agree with what you're saying, but do you think it's not overly ambitious to think that us as a fan base can actually do that? You know, 60,000 people in that stadium week in, week out, or close to. How many of the percentage of those 60,000 do you think like us? How many are like the real? Because I genuinely believe it's a very small percentage. And I know we heard the Levy out chants and that kind of stuff in the stadium, but still, that was still a minority of that stadium.
So the way one of my friends in Canada, Sean, sent me a voice note a few weeks ago, and he said, you know what, if you take away the corporate and the way end of the Spurs ground, let's say there's 57,000 minus the corporate, minus the away, whatever, and you took 10% of that and say they were hardcore Levy out, these are just for in the stadium, you're already looking at 5,700 people. Even if 10% of them was like as staunch as myself and others, if 557 people stopped doing that and didn't spend a single penny, that will make a small, like that, when they see their receipts, they see their takers, they'll be like, that's a little bit down. And I don't expect the next home game no one to spend anything. If you're with kids or whatever, you're going to buy a kid a drink or a burger or whatever. I get all that, but if you are saying that you are proper wanting Levy out, the way you've got to do it is by money. That's all they listen to and all they care about. So if you are passionate, if you are wanting him out and you're ready to do something, stop spending money.
Spot on. Another super chat here from Dan Ang saying, should get Ryan Mason rather than Nuno. It will cost less so, which will suit Levy. I mean, you know what? If Ryan Mason was to come in, we're going to see a better brand of football. We might not see results week in, week out, but we're not seeing results week in, week out anyway. So what's the difference?
Well, there's that. Plus the press conference. Oh my God, the press conferences are bad now, but Ryan's weren't much better. But do you know what? I actually don't want Ryan to get the job. The reason I don't want Ryan to get the job isn't because of the football or anything. That guy had an awful injury which ruined his career, and he's trying to get to management. And I don't want him to have another stint at Tottenham, where it's going to just he's got a young family, he's got where to live in. This could destroy him. This could, like we were saying with the kind of managers we could get. If Ryan Mason has another foul stint at Tottenham, then who's going to want to hire him apart from the lower leagues? And Ryan Mason deserves better.
And what else is coming out from this managerial situation at the moment? Alfredo Pedula, who is a journalist for the Gazzetta in Italy, and he says that Tottenham want to try again for Antonio Conte with Nuno Espirito Santo's future in doubt. And there was another one about Conte as well, from Tutto Mercato Web, another publication in Italy, saying Tottenham are working hard for Antonio Conte. Contacts between the parties have begun. Paratici is looking to reach an agreement that could also arrive in the next few hours. I mean, any truth in that, do you reckon?
Absolute bullshit of the highest order. It's if anyone thinks or believes this Nuno Conte story, my God, I don't know where it's going. There is not a chance that he's coming. Why is he going to want to come when he blew us out because of whatever reason? Funnily enough, once season tickets deadline went, there's no way he's going to come. If look at what Jose did and what Jose needs to be backed. Antonio Conte came in and said, I need this, this, and this, and I want these members of staff. No. What? So all of a sudden that's going to change? He's going, oh yeah, now I'm wrong. No, it's not happening. We'd love it. I would take. Obviously, we'd all love Conte.
The only way he comes if Daniel Levy and Paratici fills him with his head with lies, pretty much.
And that's it. And then, but what we know, what he did with Inter, he said, "Listen, you're not selling my best players. If you do, I'll walk."
Yeah, and that's what he
and
did.
He'll do it again. We'll have the shortest manager in history. January window will come, and he'll go goodbye.
Yeah,
that's it. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? He'll probably go after the first game, to be honest, working with that lot. But look, is there any call-ins? Have we got any call-ins? All right, let's go to the lines and let's see what you guys have to say. I want to know your opinions on the game last night. I want to know your opinions on Nuno, Daniel Levy, Enoch. I want to know your opinions on everything. So get calling in. The link is in the community section for members right now. So who have we got first? Who is it? Where are you, Josh? There he is in his car. Josh, how's it going, man?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing, Josh?
What happened? What happened to your 100% record yesterday in the studio, man?
They've all gone then.
All gone.
Oh, bruv. Mate, 100% gone. We're back to 100% losing. We're back to 100% 3-0s. And we're back to 100% being below Arsenal.
Yeah. Let's start off with the game yesterday. Any positives to take from it whatsoever?
Mate, the only positive is waking up being 2 points off fourth. That's the only positive, is we're still 2 points off fourth, which is where we want to be, right? That's the promised land. But mate, that's just on paper. The reality of the situation is we are 20 points off fourth right now, the way we're playing. You guys just mentioned it, at the bottom of the table for all the stats, whether it's shots on target, for literally 0 in the whole game. Attacking threat is 0, XG is 0. Mate, it's really shit. I can't remember when it was this shit. I genuinely can't remember it was this shit. It wasn't this shit under Jose.
No. I was saying yesterday, Josh, that I think even Tim Sherwood's reign was better than this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with Mason, he's a puppet. He's Daniel Levy's puppet, right? And he's going to make decisions based on being, fearing the hierarchy. I'm not Mason, and I know you guys are talking about it now. I just think he might play his mates again, and he might try and do the whole kind of goody two shoes thing. What we need is a leader and a strong man like Poch. Poch came in, yeah, and he had that, that grit and determination to change the way we were playing football, change the squad, and I'm sure he had some punch ups with Daniel Levy, which in the end got too much, and he realised he's not going to get anywhere with Tottenham. But yeah, there's just leadership missing all over the squad, and I put some tweets up earlier of the actual goals themselves, and do you know what? Fair enough. I don't mind losing a goal to Ronaldo or Bruno or Cavani. They're quality professionals, at the top of their game. But the way and the manner we played and lost and let those goals in, I mean, it was Sunday League, man. The way we defended and the way we allowed United to pick us off.
Is that
There's
down to
one thing
Nuno's?
losing.
Is that down to Nuno's tactics, or is it down to attitude from the players on the pitch?
I think it comes down to desire as well. Like, I don't think, these guys on social media put things up where they're all giggling and laughing, Lucas, Son, and all that good stuff. And, Jose said it as well, you're a nice bunch. But when it comes to actually, playing on the front foot with aggression, with desire, with like leaving everything on the pitch, I'm seeing certain players look at other players, and whether it's Kane, one of the best players that's ever lived to wear the shirt, or whether it's I don't know, Davis, we've talked about one of the worst players in the squad. There isn't enough unity in the squad. I'm not seeing unity. I'm seeing unity on social media with jokes, but I'm not seeing unity on the pitch. I'm not seeing players dig each other out. I'm not seeing players back each other up. I'm not seeing, Pierre's a great player. He's one of the best players in his position in the league. But even yesterday, I'm like, who are the leaders, man? Who's yelling at who? Lloris is quite quiet. Kane's quiet. There isn't anyone there. We're missing a real leader, man. I don't know who on the pitch. Players have to take responsibilities for the runs they make and the effort and the desire they put into a game. That is something Nuno can't drive. Effort and desire. They're not kids, man. They're not 16-year-olds. They're fully grown men on 200 grand a week, 100 grand a week. They should want to leave everything on the pitch. But where Nuno takes blame is obviously tactics, player selection, substitutions, and in-game management. And we saw yesterday, man, the selection. I mean, I wanted Tanguy to start because I think United's DMs would have struggled with him in Fred and McTominay. I think they would have struggled to handle him. And I don't think anyone would have started with Ben Davis. I mean, obviously there's something going on behind the scenes where he's trying to discipline Reggie or trying to show Reggie that I'm the boss. And the best way to hurt a player is to not start him. Players want to play football and be on the big screen, and especially United at home. You want to, it's probably one of the most watched games over the weekend if you look at sort of global media coverage, because it's Manchester United. But
why? What was the need? What was the need to punish Reguilon? Like, he's been one of our best players this season. What is the need for it?
It's a difficult one. I mean, look, sometimes you have to hurt someone where it hurts, and that you can't find players because of club rules. You can't find them you can only find them for major things. So we've seen it with the best managers in Ferguson, and we've seen it with every manager. They will drop a star to let them know that I'm the boss. And if you're spreading rumors within the club about me, or you've said something to coaching staff, or you've disrespected me, then I'm going to hurt you where it hurts you. So I can understand hurting people where it hurts them, but there's many ways to do it, right? You want to do what's best for the club in terms of the result on the pitch, because that's what we need now is results. We need to get up the table. We're nowhere near where we should be. 8th and 10th is the 90s shit that you guys were just talking about, which is not where we should be hanging around, right? I know we're 2 points off 4th, and that's a bit of a silver lining because everyone's doing shit around us in a way. But there's a massive opportunity to take 4th spot with Man United, Arsenal, Everton, and West Ham. That 4th spot's off a grab. So you should only think about the result on the pitch, not disciplining a player. But, a really strict dad would say, I won't do this for my kid because I know it's going to hurt him, rather than, do other little things that are not going to hurt him. So you still don't do it. I disagree with it, Ben. I mean, I get disciplining players is important, and there are players in our squad that need a slap or two, right?
But
And
Reguilon's not
I
one
know
of
Ben
those.
Davis
Yeah,
is.
Josh, I just want to
Yeah,
add
but
to
he's done
that.
something. He's
Josh,
done
just add to
something,
that
hasn't he?
because
He's got to have.
because you look at when you were saying Ferguson United, when the Amsterdam played up, they go. That's what they do. We've got a nucleus of players where they know they can see off managers because we just keep
Yep.
giving them contracts. So they've seen
Player
off
power.
Pochettino, they've seen off Jose, they've seen off the Ryan Mason. Not that he was getting full time, but whilst this nucleus is here, and while these players like Delhi, who is to me the centre of it all, he really is the one that his attitude is just simply shocking and appalling. He's a disgrace. Whilst these players keep doing this, they're like, okay, this manager's come in, we'll just do what we normally do and see him off. And you've got to remember, this is like the 8th or 9th choice manager. So when you've got the 8th or
this is the
9th
thing
choice
with-
manager come in, you're not going to be like, here we go, okay, I really want to play for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, the more you sack a manager, the more you give players power in a weird way, because you're allowing the players to down tools to down the manager. Because if the performances on the pitch are not good enough, you put the chairman in a position where he has to sack the manager because it's all about results and points on the board. So in a way, the players, there's a good old saying, the players pick themselves, which I believe in. Because if you make your manager if you play well on match day and in training, you make your own decision in a way because the manager has to pick you. Likewise, managers are in the hands of players' performances, and players have that power to sack them. And this has been a constant problem at Tottenham. We're becoming Watford, man, with the amount of managers we're going through now. And it can't work. It's not a long-term strategy. When we look at Arsenal and we look at David Moyes at West Ham, they've had their difficult periods with West Ham fans saying shit football, Arsenal fans saying what process, trust what process. And they're sitting there now probably going, right, okay, another, West Ham fans top of the world. I'm sure there's still the Arsenal fans are split. But there is a point where the board needs to say, regardless of the results, to remove player power from the squad, I have to just keep backing the manager regardless of results. And I'm not saying we do that because this guy's making stupid decisions. But there is a player power problem at Tottenham. And the only way to remove it is to say to the players, there's only one boss, and it's not you. It's the man I employ. It's the sporting director. I'm sorry, guys. It's not Harry Kane. It's not, the guys that have been there 6-7 years in Winks and Delhi. And I feel like that player power problem obviously got Pochettino sacked in a way because they just, decided not to play for him anymore. And, he was demanding double training sessions from them. He was getting aggressive on them, almost treating them like kids. And these guys down tools. And my worry is the player power problem at Tottenham, and how these so-called men are now responsible for the performances on the pitch. But don't get me wrong, Nuno's tactics, player selection and substitutions have been poor. We actually ran just as much as United yesterday, and you'd never think that looking at the scoreline.
Well, do you know what as well? I've just seen there's comments here, and he's commented a lot, apparently from James Rocco, that apparently Reguilon was caught partying for Halloween with his partner on Friday night.
Oh, really?
So that's what they're saying. So if that see, this is what it is. If he's done that and then he's done it last Christmas with COVID, the players just do what they want. They just do what they want because they know we accept mediocrity. They know they won't get punished. They'll just get dropped. They'll still get paid their X 1,000 amount of wages. There is no accountability. There is no standards. The players just run amok. The patients are running the asylum.
But the thing is, this is it, Brian. Like, we talk about toxic issues at Tottenham. A major part of that, as well as Levy, obviously, from the top down to the bottom, is the bottom up to the top. The flipping players are working at 70% of their capacity and not, he said it earlier this week, Nuno. And trust me, I'm now borderline. I'm pretty much Nuno out. I'm still going to give him 3-4 games because we've got Burnley, Everton and Leeds, and that's enough for me then. But he said it this week, chaps. He said there are players in this club that are not committed. Jose Mourinho said it, right? Pochettino didn't go too public on it, and probably because of the friendships he developed over the years with these players, didn't want to say too much. But Jose and now Nuno have both basically, the fans, we're hearing the same things. We're hearing the same things. These players are not committed 100%. They're committed enough to take their wages home, but they're not committed enough to leave everything on the pitch and get back into fourth
Correct.
or third or challenge. And you know, there is in life, hard work is hard, right? It is hard. It means consistently going to work and working hard. You ask boxers how hard they work to win a fight. In any other sport, winners have to work and train consistently for months on end to win a medal or, you know, to finish top. Hard work is the basis of Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City actually working hard along with the tactics, the player selection subs. We're lacking all of it. And that's the worry. We're lacking tactical nous. We're lacking hard work. We've got players that just want to down tools. And I blame Harry Kane in this too.
Yep.
Harry Kane needs to take responsibility, man. He is Mr. Tottenham. He was Mr. Tottenham for the last, I mean, you know, we're going back like 3-4 years now. The man's been like a living god, yeah, walking around, you know, and deservedly so, right? Getting all the praise he gets from football media and Tottenham starting him even after bad games. We just continuously start him. But at what point now do we say you are not undroppable? Because you know something has to give, guys. You either sack the manager, you change the player formation, and then you start to look at it and go, right, what do we do now then? So if we don't sack the manager and we don't change something within the squad in terms of different players being given a chance, where do we go from here? Really, I don't see any other way out apart from changing players or changing manager. Levy's not going to go anywhere, obviously, for the next however many years or months.
Don't say that.
Least.
So we'll get. Please God, we'll get it out sooner.
Yeah,
I
mean, everyone wants that. Everyone wants that, but I think it's just such a hard task to do. I just think it's
but
as much as everyone wants Levy out and all this kind of ENIC reform and stuff like that. I mean, they're a multi-billion-pound company. I mean, no one's just going to get them out overnight, are they?
do you know what? I was talking to someone about this the other day, right? And if you think of a drug addict relies on drugs to keep his addiction going and keep himself sane to a certain point. And he was saying to me, this guy was Levy in, and he was saying to me, why would Levy add personal money into the club and then get the club on an addiction to personal money rather than self-sustained money? So why would the club need the addiction for external money to grow rather than internal money, being club revenues and, you know, obviously merchandising, commercial sales, etc. And I understand a business needs to be sustainable to survive, right? Like for you to let the business kind of generate its own income, you need to build the structures around it to allow it to do that, which is the stadiums, sponsorships, you know, buying players young, selling them on for more money. All that's part of revenue. But when you look at the finances, how much of that money is being spent back into the football, right? Is one of the big questions people keep asking. Secondly, how much of that money has been spent on developing the infrastructure of the club to put the money back into the football in the future? So you've got, you know, you guys are talking about there's not many people leaving out, because I think they genuinely believe that this money that's being generated will be put back into the football. But we need to be patient because the infrastructure of the stadium has put us one step back, but it will be two steps forward in the future. And I think that's what a lot of Levy in fans believe, that he's doing the right thing.
I've heard the same for 20 years. Build for the future, build for the future, build for the future. Yeah, next season's going to be our season. We're going to get this player, we're going to get that player, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Apparently, from what I've been hearing as well, from the NFL 2 games and Joshua, £900 million has been raised or earned by the club. So you look at it now in January with 100 million potentially in the club, the shirt, the sleeve sponsor, the training gear sponsor. Let's see what happens in January when we sign no one of class or no one of substance, and we'll be in for a couple of players and we'll be haggling over the price. Then it won't go through and it'll be like, do you know what? It's the January transfer window. It's hard to get these players in. And, no, what's going to happen here? At least we try. It's the same every year, Josh.
It is, but you know, like, it's like a car. A car could be stalling and you need to give it a little jump start, you know, to get it into first and second, third gear. We need a jump start from the owners. we're basically stalling as a club right now, and we need, you know, for them to come in, put the plugs on the battery, and give us a nudge to go to the next level. If we continue to stay in this sustainable Levy, money coming in from the club, not from external, not from owners, because we're not going to do that. The club has to raise its own money like a normal business, and everyone gets paid from the business profits, et cetera, including the directors themselves. We are going to just stay in this lane for 10 years. It's going to be a painful, long, very slow journey. And in that time, the West Hams, the Newcastles, and other clubs around us are going to take over. So the way I look at it is the club needs a massive jumpstart. Now, the owners can do that by injecting money into the club. I believe that all this money that's been borrowed, there is no more money to borrow. There's no collateral left. It is basically, we are the most debt club in Europe, I'm pretty sure, then it's Barcelona. So we've basically rinsed everything we can do from the assets of the club. So now we need personal injection, right? And this is where the owners have a choice to put personal money in. Now there's FFP for financial fair play, so you can't just put money in. It's very difficult to do that now, from what they say. So we need to find a creative way to generate money to put into this club, not into just the infrastructure, because we've done that, but into the flipping football side. Because we've seen what Romero can do, guys. I know he had a shocker yesterday, but he made some great tackles. We've seen what, Emerson, I think, will be a good player. Brian Hill's got potential. We've actually seen what we can do when we spend a bit of money. In Romero, quality centre back. So we have another couple of good transfer windows, and I believe we will be, we'll be up competing again. And that's why January, next summer, the next 2 summers, basically either put us back into mid-table, or give us a chance to compete again. And I just keep hearing is there's no money. It's all debt. We've got very little money coming into the club. Everything's paying off for the debt. So it's really worrying to hear the chairman come out with that kind of shit. Because where's the money going to come from then? If there is no money, you're sitting there going, what do? We sell Harry Kane for 100 million, put it back into the squad. That's probably what's going to happen. So, it is worrying.
Sad state of affairs, worrying state of affairs. What can I say? I mean, where do we go from here?
We're skint. We're
skint, but we're the 8th richest club in the world. Go work that one out.
Yeah.
And we're skint, but they keep acquiring golf courses and this course and that course, you know what I mean? And they keep acquiring this kind of stuff, but there's no money for the team, apparently.
You know what they do, Ben? Because very few people have access to the real accounts of the club, and because very few people, unfortunately, like to think that the stadium is the answer, and it is part of the answer, obviously, because it brings in double the revenues that it used to. People also need to understand the level of debt that we're in, and the club will keep pointing to the debt, because that's the bit that's on paper that you can all go on Google and type, and it's all there, all the loans and Bank of America.
But they are very long-term loans. These loans, they're very long-term loans, and that's supposed to kind of, But what I'm saying is they're long-term loans with payment plans, right? That should be able to, in the short term, give us some money that we can use.
Well, that's the hope, isn't it? That, okay, we've got a mortgage. So that means whatever we make every month or save every month in terms of profit will go back into the squad. And that's the light that we like to or want to believe. And hopefully this transfer window will sign a player or 2. I know it's difficult in January, but if you want to put the money down, players are available, and we'll do that next summer. I don't think Fabio Paratici will hang around too long if he realizes that we're not going to compete with the clubs around us when it comes to spending on players. So we'd like to believe that. We'd like to sit here and think there is light. The stadium money's coming in every week. Yesterday, next weekend, even the ECL money's coming in. But only time will tell. So I think a lot of people, like how people have turned Nuno out sort of over the last 24 hours, I think a lot of people will turn Levy out over the next 12.
Are you Levy out, Josh?
Months.
Are you Levy out? Enoch out?
I want the club in the best hands. So if they're gonna leave, if they're out, if I said I'm leaving out, it's on the basis of who takes over the club. I don't want owners that come in and just juice the club for money. And there's too many owners looking to buy Tottenham.
That's what we got now.
Or not Tottenham. That's what we got now. So I don't want the repeat of that. I'd rather wait for the right owner, and if it means 2 years, 3 years, or whatever it is, for the long term, I want 20 years of a bit of glory now. You know, it will be dead before, before we see anything. So for me, it's long term, and it's giving the keys to the right owners that have not only the best interests of making Tottenham commercially successful, because you have to, but also willing to put their finances into the club in a very clever way, the way the Newcastle owners will do it, the way Roman Abramovich has done it, the way Sheikh Mansour's done it, and basically give us the jump leads and the injection to compete with actually flipping challenging for a title once in my life. So for me, it's the owners that we give it to that I'm more worried about, rather than just leave you out, guys, to be honest with you. But we don't get access to this information. They just sell the club and you're stuck with what you got in it. So you never know what you're going to get.
All right, Josh. Big up. Great job on the stream yesterday. Thanks for coming on today.
Cheers, guys. Take care, Brian.
We'll see you soon, bro.
Buddy.
Yeah. See you later. Come on, Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Oh, Dan. How you doing, Dan? We didn't even give you an intro, but you're here. How you doing, Dan? You're on mute, I think. You're on mute. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
That's one of the greatest things when I've done it as well, when people are on mute and they're talking like How are you, Dad?
Just doing all right. Try not to think about Spurs too much, but also good time to vent, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, were you at the game yesterday?
Wasn't at the game. I haven't been able to go to the game for a while. Just haven't had the time or the money for it. Next game I'm going to, I think, is Norwich at home. So hopefully either things are looking better for that. And if not, it's just Norwich. So hopefully it'll still be a result.
Yeah, there's some sort of noise I can hear. Some sort of background fuzz.
Better now?
Yeah, that's better now. Look, assess that game for me. What went wrong yesterday in terms of, you know, where do we go from here, first of all? Never mind what happened at the game yesterday.
Where do we go from here? Further down the table, unless we change something drastically. Because you look at the games coming up, I genuinely, even with Mourinho, I always felt there were games, you know, we can get something out of them, even if you worry about, you know, taking a lead and then dropping it later on or something like that.
At least we were getting in the lead.
At least we'd get in the lead. At least we'd play probably some good football and then just drop back and absorb pressure or anything like that and just have defensive mistakes cost us. Now, it's almost like there's less fear going into a game because we're not going to have something to lose. At the end of the day, I said before the game yesterday, I expect us to hold free today. And lo and behold, we held free. And I think there's going to be a lot more results like that unless, you know, the easiest thing to change right now is the manager. Because we're not going to get, you know, the board or Levy out immediately and have this massive restructure immediately. You're not going to be able to sell the players right now. And whether we are able to sell the players when it comes to the window anyway, the only thing you can change is the manager. Because we've got Everton away next week. And I don't see us getting any result at all. And they haven't been great lately. But like, who can you realistically see us beating, save for Norwich?
I get that, but, you know, it took us 75 days to hire Nuno. If we had to sack Nuno now without a plan, where do we go from there? Like, what manager do we even bring in?
No clue. No clue. Like people talk about Mason. It's not because Mason's this great managerial prodigy, but it's because at least with Mason, the football was somewhat enjoyable. Like you could go into a game. I didn't necessarily have high hopes for the games, but they were somewhat enjoyable. And I felt a bit like people, you know, he tend to play his mates a little bit and go a bit safer than he should have. But at least he made the football enjoyable to watch. You look at him against Nuno, and I think he got one of the highest like XGs we'd had for a while in that game. And like we had one of the most shots on target for years or something like that.
Yeah.
At least the football was enjoyable to watch. You didn't necessarily expect us to win every game, but you're enjoying it. Whereas now, you don't expect us to win any game, and we're so boring. We're the most boring I've seen us. Like people joked about us being dinosaur football and everything under Mourinho, but this is the worst I've seen us play in years, and it's consistent.
Yeah. The games I've been to, honestly, when it's been like 15 minutes gone down, it feels like half an hour. It's so slow. It's like, oh my God, it's just so...
I'm glad I've only been able to watch them on the TV because you can get distracted with other things because there's no enjoyment from watching it. I had a mate round to watch one of the games. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember which one it was. But and we just ended up playing FIFA or something because it's more enjoyable. At least you have control over that and can do something better. The football's just so boring. And we don't have players in a squad that are top 4 quality. Everyone knows that. but we should be able to put out better performances and get better results than we're getting right now. Our goal difference is 4th worst in the league, I believe it is. It's the worst out of the top half, and it's only better than teams like, I think, Watford and like Norwich.
Mm-hmm.
It's abysmal.
And even Watford and Norwich are getting more shots on target than us, scoring more goals than us. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
And with the players we have to be doing better than that. I'm all for giving a manager time. In like the first few weeks, people started to turn on Nuno. And I was like, no, give him time. Yep. Like, you know, when we were getting the 3-0 to Palace, 3-0 to Chelsea, I was like, you got to give him time to implement his philosophy, or at least to turn things around, just see some promising things. I don't see any promise at all. If anything, I think the football's got worse. And I don't know how that's possible over 10 games for the football to be worse now than it is in the first game against City.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's possible.
It seems to be regressing. It really does. And like when you look at Nuno on the side of the pitch, I mean, he looks like a beaten man already. He really does. I mean, and he's looked like that for a while now. It's not like anything new. He looked like a dead man walking from 5 games in. And how can you account for some of these decisions he's making? Ben Davies starting yesterday, like where does that come from, first of all? And also taking off Lucas Moura 10 minutes into the second half. He was our best player yesterday.
The guy, like I said, I like Nuno as a man. I think he seems like a nice guy. And whenever he's done interviews and so on, he comes across quite likable. But he genuinely seems clueless. This was his shot at like a big club in the Premier League, and so far he's blowing it, absolutely blowing it. If it was me, as much as I want to give him time, I would just pull the plug and just put in Mason. Just so at least, we've already had promises broken to us about getting the free-flowing attacking football back and everything. And then we had the mess in the summer about, going for Conte, then hiring Paratici, which then drubbed the rest of our managerial targets. So then we went for Paratici's targets, didn't get the first 2 targets, so ended up getting Nuno in, which is complete antithesis of what we were promised. And then he's serving this up. And yet, what you're saying about the decisions he's making, it's schoolboy. I don't understand how you can be a professional manager who's done, a reasonably good job at Wolves, and you're making these decisions. Where's the justification for bringing in Davies? I don't understand. I would more understand it if we were against Liverpool, a team like that, because you go, yeah, okay, Davies is more defensive than Reguilon. You try and be a bit more defensive against a team like Liverpool that can rip you apart. United held 5 last week. And they've been getting drubbed week on week and just occasionally pulling a result like in the Champions League, whatever, from luck or last-minute Ronaldo brilliance. Mm-hmm. And we're not putting Reguilon, who's been one of our most informed players and one of our biggest attacking threats. It makes 0 sense. And everyone knew that he would be caught out for the first goal. From the minute you saw him on the team sheet, you knew that he'd be caught out. And yeah, it was an amazing goal and all that. But of course, it was Davies who's the one who was meant to be marking Ronaldo and meant to be intercepting that. And the Lucas one... I hope that the players don't believe they were being booed, but the reaction says it all. And everyone, I only managed to see it on Twitter. That was a bit where I was in a car journey for the second half of that bit where he got subbed off. And I turned on the stream just to see it because I heard there was boos, and obviously with the delay. And the reaction just speaks for itself. The commentators knew, all the fans knew. And I don't know how Nuno, a relatively experienced manager at this point, can make that decision when, not many players were great, but he was the one trying to make things happen. He made probably our best chance in the entire game. I have no explanation for it. Unless he's trying to get sacked, which you never know, it could be possible. He might have realised that he's in over his head and he wants to go. I just don't understand how you make that decision or any of these decisions.
Do you know what, Dan? That boo, you're no better than me, but for me, that was the loudest boo I'd heard since Sol Campbell.
For the sub.
For the sub, yeah.
See, I wasn't in the ground for that bit. I was still downstairs. I was still downstairs.
So yeah, I think, I was there for Campbell's first return to Spurs when he was in the Arsenal shirt, and that was bad. This was probably, apart from when the final whistle was gone, for an actual moment in the game, I don't think I've heard a boo like that for a long time. It was telling.
And it wasn't just about the sub. I think that's just the collective response for years of bad decisions on bad decisions and mismanagement and poor managerial choices and the constant regression of football since Poch's prime. That's just all went into that, and it's just so telling about the state of the club right now. I have no idea why United fans were so worried coming into this game, because we were the easiest big team you could play a week after that 5-0 drubbing, and Nuno just played right into their hands. yeah, I haven't heard a reaction like that in a long time, and I just think it's I hope start of the breaking point for maybe change, but it just summed everything up, that reaction, like how angry and betrayed Spurs fans feel right now.
Yeah. And yes, absolutely spot on. And I just really don't know where to turn at the moment. I don't know where to turn. I mean, this club has been absolutely toxic from top to bottom. I said it a few years ago, you know, when Poch got sacked or just before it or just after it. I can't remember when it was, but this fan base was turning toxic then. And I said at that time, we really are turning into the Arsenal fan base. And we're there now. We're full-blown Arsenal fan base right now. That's where we're at. And it's 100%. It's a sad state to see. It really is. And I don't know. I really don't know where to turn.
What is there to be positive about? What is there to be positive about with this club right now? I don't understand. Like, there's zero footballing terms to be happy about. Like,
well, we got a nice stadium. They just acquired a nice golf course. You know,
that's all lovely stuff. But in terms of footballing and, you know, even winning games, we got worried about not winning trophies, and then we got worried about Mourinho about winning games. Now we're worried about even playing nice. We're constantly regressing, and it only seems like the way further is down. Like in the immediate future, you might get a change in the manager, but then it all depends on who you bring in, because it might just get even worse than that. No one can say that it's going to get better. But like, I don't even think that we're going to sack Nuno soon. Everything seems to point towards the fact that they accept that it's a transitional period and that bad results will happen. When's the breaking point?
Yeah.
Losing to Vitesse? Doubt it. Losing to Everton? Probably not.
If we go out this Conference League group stage, surely he can't carry on in the job. Surely. But
the problem is, this is Paratici's man. Paratici, like,
it's Paratici's third man.
Paratici's third man, who supposedly, like, you look here from Alistair Gold, that he had to play clips from his Valencia side to even convince Levy about appointing him. So now if Levy sacks him, he's undermining Paratici, who might then be fed up with it and want to go. So then if you sack him, do you get another Paratici man who's like a Gattuso or something? Or do you then just go for an actual attacking manager like we were promised? But then most of them are in a job right now that are worth it. Exactly. Potter wouldn't want to come. Ten Hag, although supposedly he was interested and we turned him down or something, I can't remember. Like, why would he come right now? Ajax are playing some of the best football in Europe.
Yeah. Daniel Levy's gonna go back to Fonseca on his hands and his knees, isn't he?
I'd take Fonseca right now. I'd absolutely take it, because his football is enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
I'm fine with getting dropped 3-0 if you're at least trying and get, I don't know, like 2 shots on target. Is that too much to ask for?
That's the thing, Dan. It's not about the defeats. It's not about the results. It's all about the manner in how we're playing and the manner of the results and the manner of how we're conceding goals, the manner which we're, well, I'm going to say the manner which we're attacking, but we're not attacking at all.
It's the manner of the results. And in each of those games as well, we've been drubbed. You can pinpoint specific errors that Nuno has made that have led to that. Yeah. Like, obviously, in just United, Davis. In the Arsenal game, playing like Ali and Ndombele with Højbjerg when Skip had been one of our best players and could have provided some cover in the midfield. You look at the Chelsea game. Once again, I don't think Skip wasn't playing for the first half, I believe.
Correct.
When he'd been one of our best players. Palace is difficult because, you know, there were other circumstances around it. But then you play what? It was 3 DMs, Winks, Højbjerg, and Skip. Each of these games have been drubbed. There are just schoolboy errors from Nuno, which show that, yeah, things are bad, but he is not the right man. He's way in over his head. I like him, but I don't see how he can stay in this position much longer.
Great.
All right, Dan, absolutely great call, some great points, and that's your therapy clock.
Good to get it out, yeah. I can try and have a good day now.
Yeah, enjoy your day. Go play some FIFA.
Absolutely. Thanks. Have a good one, guys.
See you later, Dan.
Cheers, Dan.
Thanks.
Speak to you soon. Come on, you Spurs. We've got another super chat here from 2J saying, are we in agreement that sometimes Kane needs to be subbed off and put Son up front, but Nuno would never dare to take Kane off? I mean, forget taking Kane off. He needs to be taken out the starting lineup.
Correct.
But
the thing is, like, everyone's like going in on Kane because we know what he can be, and we've seen it from the past. But he's not the only one, is he? He's not the only one. So I know people like singling out Kane because of how far he has fallen. But I think there are so many more players as well that need to be looked at, not just Harry Kane because of his stature.
They do. And like Bob said as well, he opened himself up to this criticism with the whole scandal over the summer, which was handled terribly by him, his brother, the club, the board. So Harry Kane, who has been the golden child for so long, he could literally walk on water, and then his attitude and everything came out, and this whole saga has now just opened the door. If he doesn't commit, his head's not there, and he has opened himself up for this wide criticism, and he's not doing it for England as well. I wish we had a striker where we could just go, Harry Kane, go away for 3 weeks, go clear your head, go sort out whatever's in your head, go take the family away, focus on you, but when you come back and you're fit and firing, but we can't do it. We just physically, because of the squad in depth, we can't do it. And it's becoming a huge problem.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Let's get Josh on. Josh, how's it going, buddy?
What's up, Josh?
You all right, boys? Hello, mate. How you doing?
Yeah.
I
can tell you're ready to just go.
let's go,
For
Josh.
it.
a bit of a stupid question asking how you are after that absolute shambles yesterday.
Yeah, as long as you've got your health is all right, then that's the main thing, you know.
No, that's the main thing. I mean, my mental health because of Spurs, it's a bit temperamental. But other than that, like, when does this end? When does this end? Like, this is. I think this is the third loss in 5 games that we've had from poor decisions, poor lineups. The team just not taking accountability for what's happened. And most importantly, it's Nuno not learning from his mistakes. Yesterday, I mean, for the first 20 minutes, I think we looked okay. We were attacking, we were pressing, and things started to look good. But the typical Spurs thing, man, like we just fluff it. We just fluff it. Why Ben Davies was starting is completely and utterly beyond me. Like, when he was marking Wan-Bissaka, it's like he wasn't even in the same country as him. There was so much space between Wan-Bissaka and Ben Davies that it just felt as if he was on a completely different planet. And then it all went downhill from there.
Can you explain why he took off Lucas Moura?
Absolutely no idea at all. And I think the fans made themselves known, made their opinions known. Why he bought off Lucas Moura and why he didn't bring on Reggie is completely and utterly beyond me. What an absolute farce! What an absolute poor decision by Nuno. Right, it's starting to get to a point. I think this is the final straw for him. Like, it's not even. I think it's a case. It is the final straw for Nuno, and I think by tomorrow afternoon he needs to be gone.
There's a tweet here from Cody Mack, he's tagged us in about Reguilon, and I want to get your opinion, both your opinions on this, and see if there's any validation to it, or if you think there's any truth behind it. But what he says is, I have a bad feeling Reguilon has made it clear that he wants to go back to Madrid. A few weeks ago, there was a story going around about Madrid stiffening around for a price reduction on the buyback clause. If the player wanted to leave, that would make sense. Do you think there's any truth behind that?
After you, Josh.
I mean, I don't want to sit here and badmouth anyone, but I see Cody Mack on Twitter a lot, and he does have a lot of negative opinions, and I tend not to pay attention to most of them. But with the whole Reggie thing, I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to go back to Spain. I would not be surprised. I feel sorry for the likes of Reggie. I feel sorry for the likes of Romero. I feel sorry for the likes of Skip. How can we justify playing the way that we do and having these players on board? How can you justify it? Like, there's no way to do it. You cannot justify having those potentially world-class players on our books when we play like that. We're playing like Norwich, if not worse. At least Norwich show some heart. Like, there's just no passion or drive or desire to win a game with us. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Brian, what would you reckon about that Reggie tweet from Cody?
So Cody Mack, the living legend, who's king of the Twitter, king of comedy. I love him to pieces, my Canadian brother. I can see it. I can honestly see it. Like Josh said, why do you want to be here? Why do you want to be? And listen, it looked at Madrid. There was some problem between him and Zidane. That was the main issue and why we got him. And it's probably why Madrid put in the buyback, because if he goes within 2 seasons, we can get it. I mean, the one stupid thing I will say is you're trying to get a lower reduction with Daniel Levy. Good luck with that.
We've got a special relationship with Real Madrid. So maybe
you mean when Daniel bends over and Real Madrid do what they want? That relationship.
It's like a feeder club for us, isn't it? Really, or we're a feeder club for them, more like.
Without doubt, Josh. But do you know what? I can see it. I mean, why would you? We are a sinking ship. and he's come and he started off brilliantly. He's had 3 managers.
I think it's more than that. I think this ship's already sunk, mate.
All right, he's been here a year now. He's been here a year. He's had 3 managers. The last few months of last season, he was woeful. But this season, as we were saying, he's come back brilliantly.
He's been one of our best players this season.
And that it makes sense. Like I said, this is if this is, and Cody, what you say could be. I think there's some depth behind it. It just goes to show that the players are running the asylum, and they just do what they want because there's no accountability.
Yeah, I mean.
I think it's beyond. Like you said, that we were a sinking ship. I think it's beyond that. I think this ship's already sunk. Things need to change.
Is there any manager that can come in and actually salvage anything this season?
I would take anyone right now. Honestly, I would take absolutely anyone. I mean, there are talks that there is some high rumour speculation that we're in talks with Conte again for a second time.
Do you actually believe that though?
I mean, I don't know. I want to believe it. The Spurs, the believer wants me to believe that this is true, but I don't see it. And if it is true, like, I'm not going to sit here and deny that it. I don't want to completely ruin any truth in it at all. But if it is true, I'm seriously hoping that Levy's learned from his mistakes and actually he's willing to work with Conte and give Conte what he wants. Because that's the only reason we didn't get him.
The reason we didn't get him is because they had a meeting and Levy's ambitions didn't match Conte's ambition, or Levy's lack of ambition didn't meet Conte's ambition. And
Conte's needs as well, yeah.
I don't even think Conte comes to the table anymore. Why would he even pick up the phone to Daniel Levy anymore after that conversation? You know what I mean?
No, I fully agree. I mean, like I said, I'd take anyone right now. I mean, I'd take Scott Parker if he made himself known. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I can't help but feel sorry for Nuno in this situation. I really can't. Like, it feels as if he's a scapegoat. Like, he wasn't our first choice manager. He wasn't even our second choice or our third choice or fourth for that, mate. It was like our 9th choice or something like that. I can't help but feel sorry for him. He's like a scapegoat. We knew that he wasn't good enough, which is why the minute he signed on the dotted line, there were people already calling for him to be sacked.
Yeah. But even before, when the news was happening and, the hashtag no to Nuno and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Or Nuno.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was a dead man walking before he even joined this club, to be honest.
I'll tell you what, if we sign Conte, I'll get the We Are Tottenham TV logo tattooed on me.
Yeah,
I'll join you on that one.
Mate,
this has to happen now. This has to happen.
I will do it, man. I've already got 10 tattoos. Add in your logo. It's so not happening.
I'm going to hold all of you to this if this actually happens. I promise you.
It's so not happening. Listen, every single manager for Daniel Levy has DNA. Do not answer. That's exactly what it is. He is not coming.
No, exactly.
He is not coming in a million years.
And it just says so much when even the Brighton manager doesn't want to join Tottenham Hotspur.
Don't sleep on Graham Potter, man. I really rate Graham Potter. I think he's absolutely fantastic.
Everyone rates Graham Potter, but he won't come here. He rejected us.
You know why, didn't you? I've done a bit of research into him. Do you know he's got a sports psychology degree?
No, I didn't know.
He's obviously done his research into Levy and has assessed him and was like, no, I'm not working with this guy, not at all.
I've got a couple of people in Canada, Brian Island, my partner on Tottenham Tour, and another very good friend of mine that love Graham Potter, love him. And when we were going through the managerial choices, I said, do you know what? I like the look of Potter, but I want him to have one more job above Brighton, and then maybe. But do you know what? I would take him right now. If you could get him right now, I would take Graham Potter all day long as #1 pick. As gettable managers, like literally. He is gettable for the right price. Yeah, okay. Look who I'm talking to. But yeah, I would take Graham Potter all day long. I
would as well. I mean, but the thing is, we're still sitting here like crossing our fingers that Poch comes back. But he's on 467k a month at PSG. There is absolutely no way Poch leaves PSG and comes back to Spurs on the wage that he was on beforehand. Absolutely no chance at all. He's got more chance of going to United if Ollie gets sacked eventually. You say it's happening.
Probably.
We know it's happening, but it's a case of when. But the question is, who do we bring in? Because a lot of fans are divided. A lot of fans are calling Gallardo. I don't want Gallardo. Gallardo's never managed in Europe, let alone in England. Like, I don't think this is the right appointment for him. And then we got people saying bring in Koeman. No, because look at what he did to Southampton and Everton. He failed there twice.
Yeah, he was all right. He was actually all right at Southampton. I think it was where at Everton he really didn't do a good job. And obviously at Barcelona, I mean, shocking job at Barcelona.
Yeah.
But look, in terms of a new manager, it's just impossible. It's impossible to say
No, it
who
is
we
impossible.
want. It's impossible.
The thing is, we sack Nuno, we get Steve Bruce. You know it's happening. You know it's
Oh
happening.
my
Steve
God.
Bruce is the only manager on the market right now that is realistically available for Spurs.
I think Sam Allardyce is available. Isn't he?
Oh, so I don't even think Sam Allardyce manages anymore. I think he's retired from management. I don't even know. A lot of people were saying get Harry Redknapp in for the rest of the season. I'd take that any day of the week.
One. Yeah, but Harry Redknapp as well. He's also retired, isn't he?
Yeah. But he's, I think he has spoken in the press before that he
And
was.
Steve Bruce actually. I think Steve. Yeah, you're right. I think Steve Bruce retired after the.
Yeah, he said it. But could you imagine if we hired Steve Bruce and there wasn't pandemonium? I don't know what we'd need to do.
Oh, and Eddie Howe as well. Eddie Howe. That's
Eddie
another
Howe
one.
I'll take. Eddie Howe I'll take. At least the football's different and better.
As long as we don't get Ryan Mason back, I don't care.
Yeah.
I love Mason like to bits. Don't get me wrong. He's a legend in my opinion. Like, and it's a shame the way his career ended. But I mean, there's talks of him going to Charlton there as well. Like, I think that's a better appointment for him than the Spurs. In all honesty,
probably.
And then and then Dean Smith's looking like he's on his way out of Aston Villa. Bring him in. Sod it.
Is he? Is he about to get the sack? Is he?
He's got 3 games to save his career. Yeah.
Really?
And that's coming from one of my friends who's an Aston Villa fan who's part of the supporters trust.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about Klinsmann?
Hasn't he? He's not really that good of a manager though, is he? Before I think he's got a proven track record in not doing that well.
He's saved Spurs twice before. Can he do it for a third time?
I don't think anyone can save us at this point, mate. I think we're already dead.
Yeah.
You can't keep beating a dead horse, and I think for this season, I think we just need to think realistically, and we need to try and achieve Europa League. I think that's top 4 dreams are over.
In terms of achieving Europa League, do you think that means we have to take this Conference League very seriously now? Because
100%. I think that is realistically our only chance of a trophy.
And get into Europa League as well.
Yeah, exactly that. I don't know. Yesterday I was speechless. Like I was on Davies' watch along thing, and it was like after they scored that first goal, I was like, oh, this is it. And then the second goal went in, and then the third goal, and for the rest of the whole thing, I'm just sitting there like this. Like, I've got no tolerance for this at all now. Mm-hmm. It's a shame when you want to be behind your team, but physically it's so draining on your mental health that you just cannot keep doing it to yourself. I feel sorry for Brian at this point because he's come all the way over from Canada to be graced by that shit show.
Well, Josh, you know what it is. Like I said, I came here for one specific reason. If I got to go to a game, I got to go to a game. Thanks to I've been to 3.
3?
I've been
Okay,
to 3. I got to sit with Ben, Sim, and Grandad for all of them, and had a great time with them. I got to miss Højbjerg score my goal because I had to go to the toilet. But the main thing for me was to come here and help the protests after running my mouth as I did in Canada all the time, and always saying how I feel about this parasite, and then to finally, honestly, you could when they started singing that, and when me and Ben started, I was overjoyed to actually hear it in the stadium. Honestly, the result for me was hearing that in the stadium, not the performance, because I fought long and hard. And it's amazing now when I look at the comments in the chat. Do you remember when I first started coming on? People were like, Brian, what are you talking about? Levy's great. He's this, he's that. And I was like, nope. And now, not just now, but when I watch the chat a lot of the time, it's Enoch out, Levy out. There's a change.
People are calling for Paratici to get the sack as well right now.
But this is what I came for, to get the ball, or to assist getting the ball rolling, and lending my support where I could. And like I said, to hear that at the end was honestly music to my ears. It was like we just scored the winning goal in the 90th minute, so that was worth it for me.
Yeah, no, that's it. Right, well, I mean, you've got other people waiting, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. All I'm going to say is we cannot keep going on like this. We need to something needs to change, and most importantly, Daniel Levy and Joe Lewis and Enoch need to get the out of Tottenham Hotspur.
Correct.
Big up, Josh. Thanks for coming on once
again.
No
worries. I'll keep in touch with you on Twitter anyway. Have a good one, boys.
Cheers, mate. Another great call. Let's keep going. We've got Ollie on next. Let's bring him on now. Ollie, how's it going, buddy?
How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, trying to get through the day after last night. But what do you make out of the whole situation at Tottenham right now? What do you make out of the game yesterday?
You know, for the first time ever last night, I actually lost sleep over what happened in that game. I didn't sleep properly after what I seen, and the horrible reality is that I think the last 20 minutes, you know, the way, like, we were 2-0 down, 20 minutes to go. And I just actually it was still on the telly, but I zoned out of it. I zoned out because I had no hope that we could get back into the game.
Yeah.
No hope at all.
And what do we do from here? Because, you know, when you look at the stats, 19th or 18th for goals, 19th or 18th for shots on target, for the most distance covered as well. I mean, is it the players? Is it the manager? We all know it's the ownership ultimately, but in terms of how we can make it better in the short term, who is it? Is it the players, the manager?
I'm out of ideas because, like, in the summer, when we were looking for a manager, I thought, you know, they came out and said, like, you know, we're going to get the attacking, free-flowing guy hitching at his short list, and, you know, Potter, Ragnick.
Oh, he's gone. Try reconnect, Ollie. I'm not sure what happened there. You must have lost some connection, but we'll try get you back on if you do reconnect. But let's go on to Rishab before we get Ollie back. Hi, Rishab.
Hey guys.
Hey, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Trying to stay positive.
Yeah, so give me some. Well, how are you trying to stay positive? What's going through your mind at the moment?
The only way I'm trying to stay positive now is watching some of the highlights when Dembele used to play. Old man.
What a person! What a player to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this the end of Nuno now? Do you reckon?
Yeah, but this is the end. I think he should go. I was, in fact, I'm not proud to say this, but I was one of the guys who did not want him from the beginning. He used to be a reserved goalkeeper, and then he became a goalkeeping coach for some time. And how can we trust a Portuguese manager to come and coach Spurs? I mean, I never got that from the beginning. He played bad football and never liked it from the beginning. So I did not want him in the first place.
But what is the plan if we do sack Nuno? Where do we go?
I think we need to take the first step to sack him because it's like a bad tooth. You need to get it out. It's infected and it's not gonna do any good. The only way I can imagine him being at the club is he switches back to what he did in the first 3 games and play that counter-attacking football. Because or we get rid of him and get someone like Mason for the time being. Realistically, I don't see anything else happening.
Yeah, who would you like to come in and replace Nuno?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are not many managers available at the moment. So I think Zidane is a good manager. If he is willing to...
I think Zidane's a
Conte
good
to
manager
Zidane.
as well.
We could get Zidane playing for us. Need a bit of creativity.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Zidane's a great manager, but do you realistically see Zidane coming to Spurs right now under this current regime and in these circumstances?
No, realistically, I've heard he doesn't want to leave Spain. So I'm sure that he's not gonna come to Spurs. I thought for a moment, even Xavi's like that Saudi Arabian club he's managing, he plays better football than Spurs. I watched some of the
Yeah, he's
highlights.
about to take the Barcelona job, Xavi.
Yeah, heard about it. It looks like he has a 2-year contract with the remaining with the club. So
Yeah.
let's see how that goes. But yeah, there are not many managers left. We can just hire someone who can just play. The only thing I want to see is a good game of football. I'm not expecting any trophies at this point of time, but just show me a good game of football so that I can stay happy. But yeah, at this point of time, I'm not thinking a lot about long-term.
And what's your opinions on the board? Daniel Levy, Joe Lewis, Enoch. How much culpability do they have for what's going on right now?
Well, they made a lot of mistakes. I'm not going to say that they are really bad, but I would definitely say that they have made mistakes. They have made some good decisions, but one of the recent mistakes they made was by firing Mourinho. I mean, Mourinho, I've been following Mourinho for quite some time, and I know how he thinks and his game management, and then the way he reads the game. He was more of a realistic manager. He wanted results, and he had a way to win games, whatever the way was. But after they sacked him, there was hardly any manager available, and it might come to us as a shock, but it is the reality. There is no good manager who ever wanted to come to Spurs. We were a team before Pochettino who always had individual talent and flair, and some kind of individual goal contributor who used to create great goals for us. Like the football we used to play, we used to have the best wingers, but the best right backs, left backs, people like Modric in the midfield, Van der Vaart. These players were all there, but when Poch came, he started playing the football which we loved, right? And such a good game to watch where Dele Alli was scoring. And now I'm sort of lost in terms of what has happened after that Champions League. And I don't think any good manager will ever come to Spurs until we are willing to pay a lot and also invest in the investments.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, really. But just before you go, can you explain these two decisions from the game yesterday? Why did Ben Davies start first of all, and why did Lucas Moura get taken off 10 minutes into the second half?
That's a great question. There were a lot of bad decisions made by Nuno, and this has been happening for some time. He reads the game so poorly, and then the kind of substitutions he's making is shocking. I'll give you an example. Who has been the best goal scorer for us besides Son? Recently, it has been Ndombele, right? He has been the one who is scoring goals from us. So I did expect him to play Ndombele at first, which he did not. He got him later into the game, I think in the 75th minute, which did not help at all. And then they, every time we were attacking from the right side. Our game was so readable by the opponent. We did not even make a single attack using Ben Davis. So that decision to start with Ben Davis was wrong. It gives you the evidence of how bad of a manager Nuno is. And then you can see the every time he makes a substitution, right? You can see something wrong with it. For example, he got Dele, who he hasn't played since I think since Arsenal, right? And how can you expect Dele to make a difference in the game? Oh my God, those substitutions are like just killing me. I mean, the fans were so right to chant, "Nuno, you don't know what you're doing." I felt proud at that moment about those fans, that they are right singing that in the face of this manager. His body language is so poor from the side. You always, when you say that he's a dead man walking, I am so much with you on that point. That you he can't get anyone motivated. Even if you listen to his conferences, anything he says, it's not convincing. I mean, I don't get it. How is he even convincing the players to play football for him?
Yeah.
And Højbjerg, I'm sure you must have watched it. Højbjerg gave two interviews, and in one
Yep.
of the interviews, he said that so they asked, the question was, are the players playing for the manager? So he said, what kind of a question is that? I'll even have my cleaning lady as the manager, and we'll still play for him. So I mean, what's going at the club? I mean, I'm sure that players are not playing for him. He's not making the right substitutions, and he just needs to leave. That's the first step in the right direction. And if we want to give him, time, if we still want to have him as the manager, let him play his game, his original game plan, what it was in the first three games he showed of counter-attacking football. Besides that, I don't see us surviving the season. I mean, even if we finish in the top 10, I think that would be something realistic.
Yeah. All right, Rishab, really good call. Thanks for coming on today, mate.
Take care, buddy.
All right, yeah, cheers, guys. Come on, you
Cheers,
Spurs.
mate. Come on, you Spurs. And it's a good point, actually, isn't it, Brian, in terms of the manager, the way he's looking, because when you try and look at the sidelines, when the players looking the sideline, when the fans are looking at the sidelines, when the fans are looking at the press conference and stuff like that, you want to look at something and like hold on to something, find a bit of confidence from somewhere. And Nuno, he just doesn't give that off at all. I mean, even when we were losing under Pochettino and you watch his press conference, yeah, maybe you couldn't understand what he was saying, but he had that air of confidence about him. You know what I mean? You looked at him and you're like, all right, this is my manager. This is the guy I want to believe in.
Yep.
Nuno, what can you get by looking at his press conference, looking at him on the sidelines? Defeated man.
Oh, he completely is. I mean, when he started off with the "We're going to make you proud," people were buying into it. It's like I didn't. If he had been our first choice, we'd got him. I'd have been like, okay, Nuno's been in the prep, but because of the whole debacle with the 75 days, when he came in, I was like, what is this? It's very deflated, and he, like you said, he just looks so deflated himself. The whole squad know he's not the first choice, and then. You look at games like the 4 London derbies. If there's any games you don't need motivation for, it's these games. And you know the importance for the fans of this as well as what it means. And they're just so lethargic. So there's just no inspiration. There's no motivation. There's no passion. It's just all been drained out.
Yeah.
We're deflated. That's
We
the
are.
only word I say we are.
But the thing is like the manager is supposed to be the one that's at least showing face, at least being someone strong that you can rely on. But that's not what we're seeing.
No, not at all. I literally, because I think, let's have a look at it. In Nuno's career, I don't think he's had to deal with any big egos or people like that. He's had to deal with good players, don't get me wrong, but the egos, and he's come here, like we said earlier, the pressure at Tottenham is completely different to the pressure at Wolves.
Do you think this job was just a bit too big for him?
Yep, I do. And not only that, I want to see. I would honestly, if Nuno starts with Vitesse, his best football at Wolves was 3-5-2. If I was him right now, I'd say, do you know what? My back is against the wall. I play a 3-5-2, and then I'm going to play it. And then if he goes out fighting with that, at least you tried. Because this is not what Nuno's known for.
Well, he's going to need to try something, isn't he?
Yep.
He's going to need to try something if he wants to save his job. But we got a super chat from Mintu Lee. Big up Mintu Lee. And she says, I said before that Nuno does not have a tactic, a plan. Now I wonder what exactly is his style. No urgency, no in-game management. Fake it till he make it interviews. Ben Davis on Ronaldo. Really? Spot on, isn't it?
Oh, it's spot on. You know what? That fake it till you make it in the job interview, that I keep going back to because one of the reasons apparently we didn't get Ten Hag was he didn't interview well. And I'm sorry, but your interview is on the football pitch. That's where a football manager's job interview is. This is what I'm going to play. This is what I'm going to do. And as one of the callers said before, it was down saying Ajax are playing the best football that they've played in a long time. And he's doing it again. He's doing it again. But why? How is he interviewed badly? But you've got Nuno.
I'll tell you why he's interviewed badly, because he probably told Daniel Levy that he wants some money to spend.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And obviously he probably wanted a good scouting network and it would all be an investment in. So he's gone for Nuno. Like I said, it's way too big for him.
Do you think Nuno is a yes man? Do you think he's one of those that's just gonna, roll over for the board and cover for the board and stuff like that?
Do you know what? When we actually hired him, I thought, do you know what? This guy's got a bit of passion and desire and he probably will not allow it. And I really thought he would have some kind of backbone to stand up for it. But I just don't think he has.
Yeah.
And if he has, I think it's been trampled on, where it's just like, I give up.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to Ollie. He's managed to reconnect. Hi, Ollie. Where were we?
Guy?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good, mate. Where were we?
Yeah, I'm on the laptop now, so I'm hoping it might be a little bit better.
So where were we during our conversation? What were you saying?
Do you want to know what? I was actually just getting to the point now. I'm actually one of the ones I thought Nuno was going to work, but now it's getting very hard to defend what I'm seeing. Sideways passing, no shots on target. Silly decisions like playing Ben Davis ahead of Reguilon. Also, you go back to the Palace game. I know the Palace game, he had a lot of issues, but playing Skip, Winks, Højbjerg as three midfielders. He got it wrong against Arsenal, badly wrong by dropping Skip. He realised what he got wrong at half time, and then it was too late to salvage it. He's just making a lot of mistakes, and I thought it was going to work when we brought him in, because we were talking about Mourinho earlier. We were starting well, but giving up games at the end. One thing I noticed under Nuno is that we don't give up leads under Nuno. We hold on to them. But the problem is that we can't
just rarely get into the lead
that much. So
That's so
it's
true.
like, yeah, I thought when we brought him on, I thought we were going to get fitter, press more, and be a bit more of a, hold on to games and get it over the line. But it's just not working, and it's getting hard to defend him now. And I actually don't know where we're going to go from here, because if we sack him now and bring in the likes of Eddie Howe or someone who plays more attacking football, we have to get rid of Paratici as well, don't we?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, go on.
That's a good point, because obviously it's a different brand of football, a different style. And also, I don't know how Eddie Howe works with the director of football. Obviously, he's never had that luxury or punishment of having to deal with it, because he's just been at Bournemouth. And I honestly think, you got to remember, Bournemouth had a decent team that stayed in the Premiership for 5 years, didn't have the money, played a good attacking football, developed youth, and could do a job. But again, then you look at it, it's like, will players come and play for Eddie Howe? Will we spend the money for the players? But it can't get worse, can it, Ollie?
Not really. I think that, to be honest with you, at the moment now, whether we get rid of him now and just go a completely different route, or it suddenly turns around under Nuno, I'm just hoping either or will happen.
Yeah.
Like, the only idea I've got now for Nuno, for him to kind of save it, is like you just said it just before I came on. He needs to go 3 at the back.
Yep.
That's what got him results at Wolves. And like that Wolves team, when they were finishing 7th the last 2 seasons, I don't remember looking at them going, "Oh, they're shit to watch."
Yeah.
They
did.
I liked watching them.
Yeah.
But obviously,
they were super aggressive. They turned over the ball well. They were getting chances, albeit, they were predominantly a counter-attacking side. But being a counter-attacking side doesn't mean you have to be boring to watch.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. If he's going to turn it around, he needs to go 3 at the back and get the wing backs bombing the ball into the box. Because I know everyone's having a go at Kane, but I think Kane has just brought up his own standards. Because last year he was creating loads. He was doing what Eriksen used to do, and he was scoring goals. But in this Nuno team, he can't do that. So I think you need the 2 wing backs bombing the balls into the box, and Kane just needs to concentrate on getting in the box and scoring goals with Son. And that's the only way I can see it.
Do you think Harry Kane's being used as a bit of a scapegoat at the moment?
Yeah, he has, yeah. Because, when was the last time a striker got the most assists and the most goals in one season?
Last season.
Yeah, but before that.
No, I'm joking. I don't know. Is my honest answer.
So he's probably being told, no, you're a striker, just play up front. But if no one's creating anything or giving anything to him, what is he supposed to do? I think it's terrible the way that he was getting booed yesterday. But yet, like you said, we all know who is really at fault for it. It's just really sad to see.
It is.
I think that we're going to have to sell him now. Unless it changes around,
and I think that is spot on, because last year under Jose Mourinho, everything was geared up for Sonny and Kane.
Yep.
The whole system was geared up to get Sonny and Kane involved and get them goals and blah blah blah. Because Jose knew those two are our only players that are going to produce for us week in week out if we play to their strengths, and that's exactly what he did. Now, Nuno can't get the best out of them whatsoever. He doesn't know how to play a system where it gets the best out of Kane, where it gets the best out of Son, where it gets the best out of anyone, to be honest. So do you think, Brian, that this is just because of the system why Kane's being like this, why Kane's playing like this?
So when Nuno inherited this squad, and you think, right, I've got, already a manager goes to a squad, do you think of your best players? And when you think you've got Harry Kane coming in and you're a new manager, and arguably you've got the best number 9 in the world, the best, playing in a 1, up with Lewandowski. You think, okay, right, he plays in a 1. I'm going to make my team focus around that. And then he comes back, we put him in a 3. And then it's in a 1. And then it's like, okay, we're going to be so defensive. He has not been playing well. We saw against Newcastle when he played in a 1 what he can do. He looked a lot more like his old self. And we were saying after the game, he's got to show that more consistently. And then straight away, it's back to what he's been doing recently. And for me, you build your team around Harry Kane, which is what we've been saying for about 6 years. Go and support him with the players to match his ambition. And we haven't. And he's playing with players that should be lacing his boots. Or couldn't lace his boots, shall I say.
Yeah. Ollie, I don't know what to say anymore, but
Yeah, I know. It's a limbo
I just don't know what to say anymore. It really is. It really is. And this
swings and roundabouts. I don't even know. Like, we're going to have to hammer Vitesse on Thursday for him to save
can
his
you
job.
even
We're gonna have
can
to
you
battle him.
even see us getting a win on Thursday?
I think we'll win, but like we're going to have to hammer them.
And we're going to have to play
people-
our strongest team.
Yep.
Yeah, and what happens against Everton? Like, are we going to go to Goodison Park and get a win there? You know, like the best we can hope for is a draw, and we actually play well and create some chances and score some goals. A high scoring draw. That's the only thing what probably gives them another week.
Yeah.
know?
All right, Ollie. Thanks a lot
Yeah.
for coming on, my friend. Some really good points raised as well. So we'll see you next time. Hopefully, after a much better performance than that pile of shit last night.
Hopefully things will turn. Yeah, things change quick in football. Been watching it long enough that things do change quick. So hopefully, in a few weeks' time, we're talking a bit more positively about things, whether Nuno's here or not.
Yeah, 100%. See you later, Ollie, and
See you
big
later,
yourself
lads.
up
See ya.
and
Big up,
come
Ollie.
on,
See
you
you later.
Spurs. Come on.
Bye. Bye.
All right, Vinny. Look who we got in the back end now. Look who we got. Big up, Bob Spur TV. Come on, Bob. How you doing, man? You're on mute,
brother.
You're on mute. Come
you
on,
go.
Bob. You've been coming on for long enough, man, and you're still on mute. No, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I can hear you. I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
right.
we can hear you. But what's going on? You've been coming on for long enough to still on mute at the beginning of conversations.
I know, man. I got to keep it real. Got to keep it. Always. It's the mute button. Why change your habit?
Go on, Brian. I'll let you kick this one off.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say,
Big
how
up,
you
bro.
feeling? It's big up, brother. How you doing? Thank you for. So a load of us went out for a very good evening last night, and Bob was at the heart of it. So obviously, always a pleasure to be with you, Bob. So, Nave, did you get home and rewatch it or see it again?
Mate, I am on my way home. I've had to stop off because I'm fucking knackered from last night. So I've had to stop off for a coffee. So I'm on the M1 on the way home. Just stopped off at the services, and heard this lovely Spurs Nuno talk, and I thought, yeah, come on.
Of course, because you've got your as you know, I quote you every time when I say if you expect mediocre, if you hire a mediocre manager, expect mediocrity. I always struggle with that word, and it's the truest statement.
Yeah,
You nailed
nothing's
it
going to
that
change.
time,
You
mate.
know, getting rid of Nuno, there's no point. What is the point? The only realistic change person we can bring in is Ryan Mason. There's absolutely no point. Oh, we're linked with Conte again, and last time we were linked with him, we were all doing streams. Ben, you were doing one. Tottenham away did one. I did one. Stuart, we did Levy. We were like, yeah, Conte can do this. It was just like smoke screen, and then lo and behold, next day was it was the last day of season ticket renewals, wasn't it? And then next day it was all it went to pot. No point in changing. The only way it's going to change if there's a complete reset from top to bottom, because right now the club, the fans, the players, the manager, all they're doing is reflecting what the board are. Mediocre, unambitious, no, like I say, there's no direction, and we've got a manager to reflect that. So there's no point getting rid of Nuno. There's absolutely no point. Unless there's a change of, and it's kind of, we've always said that, unless there's a change at the top, and I don't mean God, because not even he can help, but if there's a change from, from the top of a mindset or personnel, there's absolutely no reason to get rid of Nuno. There's absolutely no reason, because who's going to come in? Like what Kim was saying, we're not going to get Conte in, we're not going to get Zidane in. I don't see the point.
Yeah, I mean, who realistically will come in after Nuno? What, Ryan Mason?
Yeah.
I mean, we can't even get like our goodwill, even like with a manager like Fonseca, who is not exactly like the best manager going. Not even he would come right now.
Ben, it's a shit show right from the top, mate. You know, Paratici apparently had a
Brains
lot.
McLeod says God out, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, got that. No, but yeah, but Paratici was apparently the one who had to convince Levy that Nuno's the man, showing him tapes of Valencia, and so you know, what does he get a buy if we get rid of Nuno? Does Paratici go as well? Do we entrust him? Nuno isn't going to get better. He's not suddenly going to become a world-class and elite manager overnight. He is what he is, a mediocre manager who's come from a mid-table team who used to play pragmatic football. And that's exactly what he's doing at Spurs. So why the hell we're expecting any more from him, I don't know. But my question is, we need players in Jan. If the unthinkable happens and we get a few funds to spend, are we going to entrust a mediocre manager from a mid-table team to spend that money?
Well, Bob, the question on that is even if we don't trust Nuno, the manager we get to replace him, if it's either going to be Mason or someone like we've been speaking at Eddie Howe or of that ilk, do we trust them with the money?
That's it. There's no long term. Even keeping Nuno, man, it's got what, another year and a half left.
Yep.
What kind of long term strategy do we have with Nuno in place? Like I say, it needs to be a complete reset. As hard as it is and impossible as it is with the owners there. The biggest thing last night was two things. Was when Lucas got substituted. Obviously, you guys were there. You didn't see it on Sky Sports. But the boo, as soon as the boos happened, it went straight onto Nuno's face and it got to him. You could tell straight away it got to him. His face, he started doing that to his beard, looking down, and it got to him. And then, obviously, we want Levy out, we want Enoch out. It's changing. The tide's changing.
Yeah.
He just doesn't seem like a strong enough character, Nuno, does he? He just doesn't seem like a strong enough character. Like, we're already, we're 10 games into the season. After 5 games into the season, after that first international break, after that Crystal Palace game, right? He seemed like a dead man walking from then. Yeah. From the sidelines, he does not instill any confidence in you whatsoever. When the players are looking to the sidelines for a bit of, like, inspiration, what do they see? I mean, Paratici was the one giving a bit of inspiration, but him and Hitchen got told to go. You know what I mean? Like, this club is a shit show from top to bottom.
Ben, put yourself in put yourself in, I don't know, Harry Kane's position. Yeah. So every day for a number of years, 4 or 5 years, you're hearing Poch coming in and demanding you, come on, we've got to win today. And you're looking at this manager thinking, right, you know what? You've changed the whole culture of the club. You've taken us to the top 4. Yes, I'm going to listen to you. You're motivating me. And then next, you've got Jose coming in with 20 odd trophies on his CV. Right, Harry, come on, we're going to do this. We're going to win this game. You're looking at Jose thinking, you know what? You've got X amount of trophies behind you. You're motivating me. Come on, we can do this. And then you've got Nuno coming in, telling you the exact same thing. Why would you? We're all human. Why would you have the same motivation from Nuno telling you X, Y, Z in comparison to a Jose or a Poch? You're not going to have it. You're a human being. You're not going to get that same motivation or the same will to play. Yes, of course, there's an argument. You should play for the club. You should play for the badge, etc. We all know that's not wholly true. We all know. Hence the reason why Klopp's a Klopp. A Pep is I think is overrated. But a Poch is a Poch. As Tuchel's a Tuchel, because players want to play for him. You can't go from a Poch to a Jose to a Nuno, man, and expect the same players to have that same motivation for that manager. You can't have that. It's impossible to have that.
Yeah, so, and it just shows. It just shows the way the club is going with the managerial appointments that we've made. You know, from Pochettino, who we bloody hell struck lucky with, so lucky with Pochettino, and then to go to Jose Mourinho, which is a step down. I know he's got a great CV behind him, but in today's day and age, he's not the same Jose Mourinho as what he was back then for Chelsea and whatever. And then to go to Nuno, it just shows the way this club is going.
He reflects what the board is.
Yeah.
Nuno is reflective of where the board are, what their ambition is. Hence the reason why, I've never said Nuno out. All I say is, why are we expecting more? Why are we expecting more from him? There is a bigger picture, and we all know where the chants and the anger should be pointed at.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Anything more from you, Brian?
No, mate, just safe journey home, and I'll speak to you later on, brother.
See you later on, man. See you later. Big up, Ben.
Big up,
Legend.
Bob.
See you
Big up,
later.
Bob.
Coming Spurs.
See you
later,
soon,
brother.
mate.
See you later, man.
Is there anyone else waiting? No. All right, so that is the end of a mammoth Good Morning
Yes.
Tottenham. 2 hours of therapy for all you guys. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. And a big up to our special guest in the studio, Mr. Brian Daigle. Thank you for coming in today. And we shall see you all very soon for player ratings. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
Leave you out.
Thank you.